We all thought Terrence was a dud, but turns out he's a stud.
I am not okay with Michael nominating me on my birthday week.
Hey, America! I am back! I've never been to a club. I don't like crowds.
Congratulations to my show!
That's right.
It's your boy, let's go! Come on! Oh, man!
Oh, man.
Why are you hyped up?
For Terrence. How can we not be hyped up for Terrence after this episode? Jaemeel. Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, August 24th, 2022, and we just finished watching the, actually, what episode number was this?
21st?
Episode 21. The 21st episode of Big Brother 24, the Week 7 Power of Veto episode, as we continue this twist where the house has been split into Direfest and Big Brochella. But we're just getting started here tonight on what channel is this? Super Mater Brothers Podcasting. I'm Dave Mater, joined with co-host Jaemeel Robinson and my brother Jeff Mater to break this episode down for you tonight. Talk about what happened in it and what's coming next. We're streaming here live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might be listening to us on the audio version. Jaemeel.
Yo.
Terrence. DJ Showtime. Got all the power. He's got all the power on the Direfest side. You know,
all the power and half the brains.
He's got all these kids giving him information. They're telling him the name of the alliance. It's like how everything's turned around. He's gone from nominee to head of household to veto holder.
Dave. This is a classic example of HOH-itis. And it's got everything you're saying is in Terrence's head right now. And he thinks he can compete with these kids. And he got a lucky week where they literally had to build their own competition.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Terrence made a bonehead move, a huge bonehead move, because they had all the deniability. Kyle basically laid it out to him, what he was going to do once they went into the house. And I guess he didn't like the answer. And I guess that's why he did what he did. But I thought he was in a great spot behind the showmance, because the showmance is going to be the target. And he's just going to he's going to float by. And that's what he needs to do in the game.
He's taken over, Jeff. He's congratulating.
What?
Congratulations to my show.
He had the information and he blurted it out to everybody. He made everything public, and he didn't need to do that, Dave. That was to me boneheaded. It was stupid. It was he went against everything that was building toward okay, if they got Joseph out, it's Turner, Kyle, Alyssa, Terrence, and I thought they had at least the three of them, and then you bring Turner in. But now it's Terrence is and I don't like it. I don't agree with it.
Yeah, Jaemeel, do you subscribe to Jeff's take on this?
Jeff's take is the only right take. Kyle, I understand why Terrence did it, because if someone cheat on their girlfriend to be with you, right, they're eventually going to cheat on you with another person, or chances are, right? They have it in them to do it. Kyle has shown to be a backstabbing bastard, right? And Terrence had all that information. Once they get back in the house, Terrence could just throw him under the bus. He's their target, right? He has places to maneuver and stuff. This middle of the road garbage that he's playing with Joseph is nonsensical, because once they get back in the house, regardless of who is there, what is he going to prove? If Joseph is there, they're going to go after Terrence, right? If Kyle is somehow there, right? Kyle is going to spill the beans to Terrence, and what Terrence also did in a matter of saving himself, and Terrence is not going to be in a good position anyways, right? The only thing Terrence had was the fact that he didn't know anything, and now he knew, right? So now he can play into that was all Kyle. I'm willing to work with whomever. Kyle is the target. He has 2 weeks. 2 weeks of freedom because first Kyle, then Alyssa is gonna be their targets, and then he can find his side because they're gonna have to make a split when it's down to 5, when it's down to 6, right?
Right.
Where is he moving now? It to me it doesn't make any sense. He
Well,
overplayed his hand.
He seemed like he wanted to pit them against each other, and I know we've been focused largely just here on Terrence and the Dire Fest, but we're almost covering 2 episodes in some ways because this cast is completely sequestered from one another, and we have Big Brochella and we have Dire Fest.
Really, it's 1.5 because there was practically no usable feeds for one side of the house.
Which side? Which side is getting no feeds?
Dire Fest.
Right. That makes sense because they have less cameras out there. No.
People believe there was Yep. And they had to shut off the cameras. It's been off and on, mostly off since I think Sunday.
Why?
Wall yellers.
Oh, and they can't solve this.
So their solution is turn off the feeds, pump music constantly so that they can't hear the wall yellers. But at the same time, if you constantly heard a loop of music over and over again with no silence, that's also a punishment. It's so much so that even the inside hears the music outside, right? And first they're like, oh, that's so lucky they get music. And then after a bit, it's like, oh, they're still getting music? Ugh, that seems like a punishment.
Yeah, I'm getting vibes of when there's Jeff. When Negan and Daryl would force Daryl Dixon to listen to some Mama Cass song over and over again or something like that. If you know Walking Dead.
No,
never mind.
No.
Okay. The question here though is who goes, Kyle or Joseph? Who does Terrence evict? So our friend Sam here is predicting a tie vote. Well, of course, Alyssa saving Kyle and presumably Turner will want to save Joseph, but maybe not. And that this will come down to a tiebreaker vote on the Dire Fest side.
Which means Terrence will have to break the tie. And are they backdooring Kyle? Is that what's happening?
He played in the veto. There's no backdoor.
Right, but you know what I mean.
But I had to no, it's no backdoor.
It's a screen door. A screen door.
The side door.
Side door. The back. Well, not a back door. Yeah. So I guess to your question, he doesn't really give an answer here. I think wouldn't it be the greatest bit of irony that Kyle sold out the alliance and then gets evicted anyway?
Yeah, but then Terrence goes pretty quickly. You know what I mean? He had this whole opportunity to go with them, and he's just nah.
It would screw over Michael and Brittany. But you're absolutely right, Jeff.
He's gonna get steamrolled. Kyle actually had a plan. He was we're not the best competitors, but if we can get Monty out, maybe we have a chance against the rest of them. That would be my pitch, and I think that Kyle was kind of doing that. And those Turner's good at comps. Terrence might win one. You never know. You have Kyle's good, and Alyssa, you never know, might win one. And so those 4 could have been a unit, and just got Joseph out, and had all the plausible deniability, and just had Terrence put them up, and that was it. And now they've ruined it.
Yeah, I guess so. Jeff, if you look at all 5 of these players here on the Dire Fest side, Terrence, Alyssa, Joseph, Kyle, and Turner, how do you sort of rank them? Who's playing the best game of these 5 in this particular situation?
Well, that's hard to say, especially this week, Dave, because they're all kind of it's a shit show. Nobody's really playing well. They're all playing bad. Like it's Alyssa's doing nothing. You have Kyle kind of like exposing the whole alliance and blowing up the game, and then Terrence does it like publicly and completely destroyed by telling Joseph the whole confidence they had with Kyle. And if I was Kyle, man, that would suck. Like you put all your hope into this idea. Like, Terrence has nobody. Here, me and Alyssa are already on the outs with the leftovers. Let's form something. You think he would have been on board for that, but no. He's like, no, I'll just like jump on board with the big alliance. I think that's his mindset, but that's not going to work.
Yeah. It seems like he did it for the lulz, which is insane. Like, to answer your question, Dave, who's playing the best game, rank him. Kyle was playing the best game because his initial read was the best. He set himself up and pivoted. He protected his compatriot, right? And then also set up an alliance. He practically had Turner over the coals, right? Because Turner wasn't going to risk getting eliminated, right? So he was in a pretty decent position, right? You could say he overplayed a little bit too much, especially that second conversation with Terrence, right? I think he was blowing a little bit too much smoke up Terrence's butt, and Terrence, that's why, I'm my own man kind of mentality that I think he has. Second person. Second person. Sorry, I'll be quicker this time, Dave. Sorry. Is Terrence until he messed it up, right? But still, second best. Third is Joseph because he seemed to at least be trying. And then it's a tie in last place for Turner and Alyssa, who could be mistaken for lawn furniture in terms of strategy. They just seem completely useless right now this week.
Okay, interesting. Because I didn't think you would say that about Turner, because like I've kind of liked Turner. I haven't really necessarily felt like he's playing a bad game, and even this week I haven't necessarily. He doesn't have the information. He didn't know that the alliance has been outed.
Well, like it's funny you bring up Turner because Turner is the most important person this week because in this vote, because how he votes matters so much. Because he says he likes Alyssa as far as a friend, and like and I don't know, is he gonna pick going with them, or is he gonna remain loyal to the leftovers and then go back and then try and maneuver within the Michael Monty of it all?
He probably has the most options of anybody, right? Because he's even after this week, he has good relationships with Alyssa, Terrence, people who aren't in the leftovers, as well as people who are. Yeah. He's not the one who sold at the alliance here, so he doesn't have that blood on his hands.
He could be guilty by association.
Yeah, sure, but like they're all guilty by association, right?
Well, whoever gets voted out won't be.
Yeah. And I just don't. I don't really know. How can you? What's the biggest flaw here? Why is Turner lawn furniture, Jaemeel? Okay,
so let's say Joseph does go out, but how does he go out? Does he go out on a split vote or a unanimous decision? If it's unanimous, he can't really say anything to the other side of the house in terms of the leftovers, because it's like, well, Kyle betrayed us, but you didn't even vote for Joseph, right? Second scenario, if it's a split vote and Terrence votes out Joseph anyways, he goes back in. Everyone says, yeah, it was unanimous, right? He says, no, it was a split vote and Terrence thing. Who's gonna? It's 3 versus 1 in terms of it. There's a dispute as to what exactly happened. Right? Did Turner actually turn on us? Is Turner a double agent, and he's gonna say that he was with us all along and he couldn't save Joseph? Like, there's no information that collaborates the situation, right? And as long as
Are
they
you
don't,
saying that
sorry,
are you saying that this is a test, Jaemeel? Like this is like a test for Turner?
It's a no-win situation for Turner.
Kobayashi Maru.
He can't win.
Well, what if he like hacks it and then eats an apple? And yeah.
All right.
But you see what I'm talking about? Like, Michael and Brittany set things up in a way so that they're in a position to have another side of the house to keep themselves in the middle with Monty and um, Taylor on the opposite side, and they can kind of straddle the middle in between, right? Is Turner with them? Then that's 3 versus 3 with Brittany and Michael in the middle as a split vote, right? But if there's questions, like they thought it was going to be a straightforward week, like if like Alyssa and Kyle were supposed to be safe, right? We're supposed to be safe. Joseph goes home. Turner's probably on the block, right? That's the thought process. That was the concept that was more or less talked about, right? It was talked about from Kyle because Michael and Brittany had been grooming Kyle to take a shot, right? So that they can play in the middle. The shot wasn't going to be on them. It was going to be on Monty or Joseph, right? And this situation has created an opportunity, right? So they're expecting Joseph to go so that Monty's still there. So Monty takes a shot at Kyle and Kyle puts his focus on Monty, right? Because Kyle thinks he's still with Michael and Brittany, right? He still has the ability to team up with them because last time they talked, they said, hey, let's think about us joining forces, right?
But is that still going to be the case after they find out this information?
Why wouldn't it be? It would be perfect. He took a shot on Joseph, right? Joseph's gone. Monty's going to be angry and is going to ask for blood, and they can, play in between the two sides.
But
I think we all know who, if Alyssa comes back, who is responsible for that. If he did it this week, it's going to be, he'll do it to one of us next, is kind of my thoughts.
But he also says in his testimony right after this that he's fanning the flames.
Correct.
So,
he says that to Monty, right?
Yeah, right. And
Exactly.
the whole Leftovers Alliance, like, or at least the ones who are present on the Big Brochella side.
So he's planting the seeds. Now, if Joseph comes back, that's going to be serious business because then it's like, what happened? How did Kyle get home? The whole point of there being two sides, so they can play the middle, is kind of gone. And it's everyone against Terrence and Alyssa. Like, what is that? Yeah. Right? Doesn't that kind of motivate people to think past the alliance because there's only 2 non-leftover components left to use to take out another part of the leftovers, like to strike first? It becomes a more sticky situation.
Yeah, I agree. We also have some breaking news here from Sam Higdon. Did you know that DX, Derek X, and Claire are going to be on The Amazing Race together, Jeff? What do you think of that?
They'll do good. Yeah, they'll do good.
Yep.
Oh, proud of Tiffany. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's honestly extremely genius.
There's some Derek X for you. Derek X from The Challenge.
I'm still not going to get me to watch The Amazing Race until The Amazing Race finds itself, because it's too soft. It's too soft. I want a little dirt. I want a little grime on my Amazing Race.
You want The Amazing Race to get a little harder.
I want people to be a little bit meaner. I want there to be a competition as opposed to like, let's do this all together. Mm-hmm. Yay!
You want the Boston Rob mentality in Amazing Race.
I want the Twinnies. I want TJ and Ford. I want the old school people. Was it who were the couple that used to yell at each other, screaming and do so well?
Well, there's been a lot of those, but
yeah,
I don't know. Oh, to Sean, Big Brother Canada, it's gonna be on The Amazing Race Canada, but
he's already on it.
Sam, The Amazing Race Canada is just in Canada. It's not that amazing. They should just call it The Race in Canada. Not
Canadian Race.
There's a lot of Canada.
Name it after Terry Fox or something. I don't know.
The Terry Fox run across Canada. Jaemeel, you would like the challenge, according to Sam. I've watched one episode. It's not bad.
And also, those people saying that Amazing Race Canada is not hard. What if they're on Air Canada?
Oh, that's hard. If they have to go through Pearson,
you get that food.
Okay, so
Might
guys,
kill you. The food alone might kill you.
It's true. Back to the episodes. Okay, we've talked a lot about the Direfest side. I think it's the more interesting part of this episode, for sure, because obviously there's this whole thing here where he even gives up the name of the alliance. What else can we talk about? And then he's talking to Joseph. And I agree, it's not necessarily smart gameplay, but to save his ass, he's gonna walk in here, and Joseph was not too happy.
I'm heartbroken. Kyle betrayed me.
It was so stupid. It was such a stupid move on Terrence's part. I can't watch it. It's a train wreck. I hate watching it.
Kyle should have never given up all that information. He didn't need to give up the name. There was plausible deniability at the very least, because the same thing that Kyle told him, Daniel more or less pointed it out when he was evicted, right? So it's like they get that confirmation. Oh, well, now I know all this information. It's like it was told before. It was spoken aloud and everyone ignored it.
Yeah. No, it was some messy gameplay for sure, but this will be interesting to see how these two sides reintegrate and how things kind of shake out after that, because it's been messy. Whereas on the other side, it's been not so much. But we're gonna get to that. I just want to stay on the Direfest just for a little bit longer. Like as Jeff mentioned, they had to set up their own comp. Everything about the Direfest feels low budget, doesn't it? I guess that's kind of on purpose. Again, what did you think about their competition, their veto competition, which was stacking these like styrofoam food containers and moving them to the different things? It looked tough.
Yeah. That would be difficult, especially if you place it and then if the wind blows it over. It's the worst.
Yeah, and that seemed to happen quite a bit there.
Terrence had an unfair advantage
because of where he was, his position. No,
he's probably been to too many cookouts where where you get your leftover containers.
Right.
Yeah. Leftovers are fine and all that, but there is nothing better than a fresh plate at the cookout.
Fresh plate at the cookout is where it's at.
Joseph doesn't look like he's ever been to a barbecue that gives out leftovers in containers like that, and definitely not Alyssa and Kyle. So I'm just saying, I think he had an unfair advantage.
Unfair advantage. He wins this one, and what he does with the power is, to be a little bit of thing. But
who's stopping me?
Who's stopping Terrence now?
Himself. My issue with this was, I wanted cookout participation. I wanted Big D to host this challenge, so that you get Tiffany for inside for the VIP area, and you get Big D for Direfest, because that's what he would be highlighting, headlining.
Yeah, Big D would be at Direfest, I think. Yeah, I think that's accurate. Why this mystery? What?
Sorry, and then Kylan comes in and he tells you what Kobe would do.
Yeah, Kobe wouldn't back down from a challenge. Oh. That's how it goes. Sam thinks we should be on the Amazing Race, Jeff.
Dave and Jeff, yes, not me.
We would crush. We'd crush. Amanda wouldn't forgive me.
Yeah. She'd want to be on it with you. I would definitely not. No offense to Jane, and happy anniversary tomorrow, Jane. But
don't finish that sentence. Don't finish that sentence.
Yeah, I don't think we would be.
Don't finish that sentence. Don't finish that sentence.
No, good idea.
There's no need to say anything else. I'm saving your life, man.
Saving your life.
I'm going to the Amazing Race with you.
10 years of looks and
right. But let's shift over to the big Brochella side, and of course we had Tiffany She was the mystery member of the cookout who was here to host the counting competition where you had to, figure out how many things there were.
So you didn't like the idea that it was a mystery?
I didn't like the idea. A few things bothered me about this competition. The fact that she wasn't there and she was on like the phone, like she was on the screen. I didn't like that. If that was for COVID reasons, like I guess whatever. But overall, like I did like the competition, but everyone kind of like threw it. Like it was kind of. I actually really liked it when they explained it, like the whole competition. I was like, oh, you can like stay in if you just fold. But then, like Jasmine was the one person that needed to win, and she kept folding when she shouldn't have.
So this challenge is one of the most gamified challenges in Big Brother. Like they stopped doing this challenge because people pretty much figured out a surefire way to get the target to lose. Right? There was no way. There's no way that that she was gonna win. There was no way. It's like legit. It's Sam says think carefully.
No, that's Jane saying that.
Oh, Jane, it's exactly Jane, right?
Yeah.
Same side.
Yeah.
Right. Sam would probably say that too. Sam is wise enough to see that as well. You can constantly keep staying, right, or keep folding to ensure that people survive. And once you know the numbers, right, you have a good sense of the numbers and where the target is at, you can kind of make sure that either everyone stays in the game or everyone makes sure that they can take a shot to get the person to get eliminated. Right?
Do you know who I'm sick of? This guy.
You don't like him?
No, he's too smart. He's too smart and he's too good at this. And he knows every competition and he knows how to game everything. And he's just like, it's not even fair. This guy is going to win.
My boy Daniel was right. He should have got him out week 1.
They should totally get him out. But they won't because he's too smart. He's the Xavier of this season. He's even better than Xavier.
Xavier's not smart. Stop giving him so much credit.
Yeah, I agree.
He won. He stayed off the block the whole season.
Yeah, but this guy's like crushing the game, Dave. It's not the same. Xavier rode the alliance. And then he got to the end because everyone like kind of just viewed Tiffany. It was like over, so then she went and then Chada went and then, it was like, Kylan with the Kobe, all those things had to happen for like Xavier to win. You know what I mean? And whereas like this guy, I feel like, like he can't be beat. Like even like he just needs to get to the point where he plays in every veto and he might win.
He might Mike Holloway it.
Yeah.
I don't think he even needs to. I don't even think they're going to target him. Like nobody's talked about targeting Michael at all.
Oh, he is okay. He is being pretty smart about staying in the middle here. But the problem is that might backfire on him. We'll see.
It's not even fun to watch this guy because he's just it's like he's too good. He wrote down his little Bible of Big Brother, and he came into the game, and I'm just like, this guy is too smart. He's too knowledgeable.
We'll talk about spoilers.
And I guess I want him to be. And even at the end of this week, he's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go after a non-cookout member. Oh, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll get up Monty now. Right. And I'm just like, go to hell, Michael. I'm tired of your shit. Anyway, that was my
little rant.
We'll get that off his chest. The Michael.
Okay.
We'll talk more in spoilers.
Okay, but good comment here from on this while we're on the Big Brochella side. Sam hates Jasmine's voice. And
which one? The fake one or the real one?
I think the fake one. Where where's my Jasmine here?
I wish these were chicken drumsticks.
I wish these were chicken drumsticks.
He really lays into those lines. Like They are so purposely delivered.
Coonery and buffoonery.
Like
Jeez. I'm
she's-
like, are you gonna tap dance for us later on? Jeez, stop it.
right. Like she's not good. Like her diary room sessions are just like, I don't like this. I don't want to be nominated on my birthday week.
I am not okay with Michael nominating me on my birthday week.
Not okay.
No, she's
Yeah.
not okay with it, but too bad.
Right.
Now that Brittany has the veto, I have to humble myself and talk to this girl. We just don't connect when it comes to game, but now I need to persuade her to use that veto on me so I can stay safe this week.
That doesn't even sound like a real voice.
Okay, yeah,
It doesn't.
the first part was more really her, but the ending part was like she went back into character, and it was full ham.
Yeah, I guess she's a ham is the best way to describe Jasmine. Hamsman? I don't know. Yeah, but she's like I don't know. I don't even feel like she's endeared herself to the other house guests, right? Like I guess she's got a couple pals in the cast, but
Yeah, they're all gone.
they're all yeah, they've all
They're
been
all
voted
gone.
out.
Like Terrence isn't like, oh no, Jasmine. Terrence isn't even like, no,
No, and Jasmine would be a number for him.
barely.
Right? Because she's not a leftover. So presumably that is who Terrence needs to work with is Jasmine and possibly others. But you know, if you with this information.
Not
but
anymore. He ruined it, Dave. We already established this.
Yeah, he ruined it already.
He ruined it. And just okay, back to the competition. Did you guys like Jeff? I know you said you kind of did like this, but like to Jameel's point, it's been kind of like they like people like Michael and like the super fans have figured out how to work their way around this competition. So
I just liked the competition. What was happening in the game to me shouldn't matter. I just liked that was well done.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Just didn't like that Tiffany wasn't there. I didn't like her on the phone.
Didn't like that either. I thought it was weird. You know, I guess I'm sure it was a COVID thing. I got this right. I was like, on this whole 1 ounce, I was like, that's 1,000 ounces, I bet, in that glass. And it was like something like 1,050. So I like that you could kind of play at home in this competition instead of like, what day was so-and-so nominated? Or what day was like the second person nominated again?
Yeah.
Or like, who gives a shit? And who remembers? Like,
Exactly.
People do. Turner does.
Like, yeah,
Of course people do because they know that it might matter in a competition, but who gives it? You're right. Who gives a shit? You shouldn't have to count these things.
right. And if they all know to do it, then stop doing it. Like, don't let them be able to predict these competitions. I understand that you want to make these like tried and tested staples or like traditional competitions, but it's like they're gonna mix it up, make it a new game that they don't know how to beat.
Or put in pressure cooker.
You know what? The one thing that Big Brother Australia does very well is they have survivor-like endurance competitions. That makes it quite interesting.
Like pressure cooker.
Big Brother,
Yeah.
we'll do those on occasion, like pressure cooker. right?
Big Brother
Pressure-
Australia.
Well, okay, pressure cooker has not happened since before. I think the last one was 10. No, before 10.
So over 10 years at least, maybe 15.
We
by
need
the
it
sounds of
back. We need pressure cooker back.
Bring the pressure cooker back. Ultimately, but Brittany wins this veto, guys. What
Yep.
would you guys think
Oh,
of
they
that?
gamed it. Yeah, they gamed it.
Well,
Moving on. Nothing to see here. We know where Brittany stands. We know where Michael stands. It's a boring side of the house. The more interesting stuff was over on the Dire Fest side because of the Turner.
When we get to the spoilers.
Yeah, well, we'll see what's going on. Maybe there's more to say. But tomorrow is basically a double eviction. So it's kind of like this whole episode was just kind of about what the vetoes are going to be. Brittany comes in, or sorry, Tiffany comes in to host this competition, and then things play out. But it's a lot. It's messiness on both sides, and I guess my final conclusion on this is that I think this twist was good, just to shake up the game, because otherwise, I think it just would have been a standard week for Michael where they would have guided out Jasmine or something like that. And I think that maybe that there's going to be some chaos coming after this, right? The leftovers will probably be over, or there will be some new version of that at best. I'm kind of, I think that there's going to be mistrust, and now you're going to finally get to see people, and I think that people like Terrence potentially are going to be able to just stay out of this leftovers civil war, which I'm kind of predicting will kick off after this.
Or be the first casualty.
Yeah. Any other comment here from Mary? I would never bungee and then travel. I am out.
For the Amazing Race.
What about the Amazing Race Canada, Mary?
You could still end up
bungee, but then you're in like Yellowknife, and that's not very fun.
No. White Horse.
And you're in White Horse.
All right. Well, guys,
imagine Americans are like, that's a made up name. It's like, no, that's an actual place.
That's the capital of the Yukon, White Horse. Watch out. Well, for all like 20 people who live there. All right. So, guys, let's get into the spoilers. Unless there's anything else in the episode I've missed, but I don't think we have, right?
Nope.
Okay, so let's get to spoilers because I'm kind of curious to see how these two votes are shaking up. If you don't want to know, get out of here now. But if you'd like to kind of hear what's going on in the feeds, Jameel's gonna break it all down. And tomorrow night I won't be here. It's my anniversary with Jane tomorrow night, who would make the most perfect Amazing Race partner ever, by the way. But we'll have to see how things go from here. Jaemeel, you're gonna be hosting tomorrow night.
You poor unfortunate souls.
Yes. Well, not for me. I'll get the night off, so it's gonna be great. All right, let's do our spoilers. There we go.
So, as mentioned previously, Direfest has been pretty much being blocked off in terms of live feeds. So some people believe that there was a yeller involved, and the yeller might have, sold out Kyle and maybe promoted the fact that Kyle is KK Kyle, possibly. Right. Now that's just a guess. It's people trying to, with the small amount of time that was shown on the feeds, that maybe Terrence's change of heart wasn't due to something that Kyle did, but more of what was said about Kyle and Terrence not wanting to be on the wrong side. That's what Big Brother Twitter is currently debating back and forth. So not much to say in terms of Direfest. What we saw is pretty much more than what people on the feeds were trying to see. Next thing, inside the house is where the intrigue is. So Michael, Brittany, Taylor, and Monty have been making inroads to kind of stabilize their relationship, and at least from Kyle and Brittany's perspective, have a locked in type of situation where they can easily wiggle the way out of, but keep Monty satisfied and locked in to make sure that he's not a target, not targeting them. So Michael and Taylor had a conversation, and Michael said, "Hey, we need to really think about getting rid of Michael." Monty and Taylor had a conversation about possibly getting rid of Michael. Now, the first time the conversation occurred, it was like we should take him out at 7. The second time the conversation was told, it was take it out at 5. All right. And Taylor went and told Brittany this information, right? Saying that Monty wants to work with us, but he's only concerned about when are we going to take the shot on Michael because we can't wait too late. All right. So that's why it was early before. But now he's saying final 5 to do it. Right.
And I'm sure Brittany was like, okay, I'm just gonna go tell Michael this right now.
So Brittany has some concerns. But it seems that Brittany has not gone and told Michael about this.
There's still time. There's still time.
But Brittany has stated to the cameras repeatedly that she's going to try her best to see what she can do to win, but she's totally fine with losing to Michael.
Question from Mary is: what if they cancel the outdoor fest like the original festival?
Well, I think they've gone too far. Why would you even bother doing that? What I'm interested in is what they're going to do in terms of voting. Are they going to have inside vote first and then have Jasmine walk out, tell everyone else to go upstairs, have the inside people come into the lounge area, vote, and then have whomever, exit the game? Right, and then the people from upstairs can come downstairs. They have the, oh my gosh, you're still here? What? Oh, they have music and everything, right?
Right.
It's like, sorry, house guests, sit down. We only have moments to prepare for our new HOH challenge, right? Like they might do something like that. I don't know.
Right. Okay. Sorry, but back to this whole thing, like the Monty and Michael of things, right? But not surprising that they're starting to understand that they're each other's biggest threat. If you're Brittany, I think there's an opportunity to cut Michael because, and maybe it's her best for her game because, okay, if it's Michael and Brittany final 2, Michael wins.
She knows this.
She knows this, right? So
yep.
Does she want, like, I guess it's just when you take Michael out, I'd say as soon as possible. Like, you obviously can't do it this week, but
Michael will take her. Taylor would take her. Would Monty take her? No, Monty would take Taylor.
Sure, but who can he win? Who can she win against? Has to also be a concern.
But you're under the impression that just winning is the primary focus that she has.
Is she happy with second place?
To Michael, yes.
Because she just thinks he's a good person?
Whatever.
It's like the Cody thing.
She's fine with it. She's going to try her best.
Has she been hypnotherapized into this? I want to know.
That's Michael is even more OP that he hypnotized the hypnotherapist.
It might be.
Now you all know my real career is being a hypnotherapist.
Yeah, you all know. I had forgotten actually until she brought it up in this episode. But yeah, okay. But there's still there's 10 people in the game still. There'll be 8 after tomorrow night.
Yep.
And I think that obviously they're all starting to think about the end game, right? At this point, and as they should. But I don't know. I like Brittany fine, but she's not and she can be okay. But I don't understand this mentality of I'm okay with my ride or die winning. I guess that's ride or die. I guess that's what it comes down to, right? Is that how you would play, Jaemeel, if you had a ride or die?
That's a very good question. I think you should always be looking to play on an individual level, and then your ride or die is what works best for you to get to the end or win, right? So Brittany saying that Michael is her ride or die is great for now until it's die and he dies and she moves on, right?
Right.
And having Michael and having Monty and Taylor want to do that for you is great because you get deniability.
Mary says that would be crazy, that Kyle ratted them out. And I couldn't help but come back to this quote from Big Brother Canada 10, Jaemeel.
You killed the alliance, Kyle.
from your boy Moose there.
Kyle, once again in 2 seasons.
Well, kind of 3.
Guys, it's proven the Kyles are dangerous elements in Big Brother games.
Yeah, that needs to go into Michael's book, where it's just don't work with guys named Kyle. Don't make big alliances with them.
They always blow up alliances spectacularly. All of them. They all did the same thing. They all had the same MO. It's hilarious.
The Kyles of the world. Watch out. You know, you killed the Alliance, Kyle. You ratted us out. And, well, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Kyle, oh my God. He is a rat.
Yes.
You know, nothing to cheer for. Okay, what's going on the Direfest side? What's going on with we don't really know, you're saying, right? Because of this music and wall yellers and whatever else.
Yep.
What do you think is gonna happen?
Joseph
Do you think
should
like
go out.
it's gonna be a tie vote and Terrence is gonna send Kyle home? Is that what you think is gonna happen?
That would be amazing.
Possibly.
Like, then the other option is that Turner votes with them, or Terrence votes. Joseph out.
Mhm.
Really, Kyle's got two chances. He's got to convince Turner or Terrence.
Well, he has to at least get. Well, Joseph needs at least Turner's vote to even force a tie, right? Because Alyssa is going to vote to evict Joseph, right?
Yeah.
So the very first thing is that Joseph needs Kyle. I don't know, or sorry, Turner. But is Turner going to force that tie if he thinks that Terrence, I'm sorry, is going to ultimately vote Joseph out anyway, right?
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah.
What is there? If you're Turner, would you force a tie on Terrence here in this situation and make him pick between Kyle and Joseph in this vote?
I've already said my piece regarding the it's a no-win situation. It doesn't matter what he does.
Jeff, you're Turner. What do you do?
Now that the alliance is blown up, I would expect that he would force a tie. That would be my guess.
Double down on his, like, he knows he has a good thing with Joseph. If he can try to save Joseph in any way, he probably should try to, right?
Yeah, and maybe he makes a deal with Terrence. He's like, no, let's get rid of Joseph, but I'll make it look like, no, I voted to keep you. You know.
Well, the only deal, like the only thing that's good for Terrence is if Turner just votes to evict Joseph, right, and then doesn't make Terrence have to do that vote. But
Sure.
What is Terrence giving to Turner in exchange?
Sure.
Well, what is Kyle giving to Turner too, right?
Nothing, but like I think like they know that Kyle blew up the alliance. The Turner, as soon as Turner gets back with Monty, and assuming Monty's even there, it could be like it would be interesting though if Monty does get voted out on the Big Brochella side, and then all of a sudden like Joseph and Monty are gone, and like what the dynamics of that would be afterwards, I think are interesting, because how do players like Turner and Taylor and those, and maybe not Brittany because she's just going to stay with Michael, but who am I missing? I guess, well, Kyle's kind of out of the alliance. So if Monty and Joseph are both gone after tomorrow night, it's a whole new story. If Monty's still there though, he's going to come for Terrence's head. He's going to come for Kyle's head. And
he can be weaponized.
Right. But the problem is they don't know what's going on in either side, so they can't coordinate this, right?
I hope they don't see the eliminations until they come back together. I don't want them to be in the same place. I want it to be two separate votes, two separate exits. That's how I want it to be.
Yeah, I think me too. I think like I would have even like as soon as they did their little schoolyard pick, and they should have done, I think, even on the air, and then sequestered them respectively. But they gave them like a little bit of time to.
It should have been you have 5 minutes to get what you need for the outside starting now, and have them like kind of rush. And if they don't, there's a punishment for the entire house.
Yeah. Sure, because I just think like even they probably had a little bit of time to strategize before they got separated here, and I think that the twist worked pretty well. I think you could improve it a bit. I guess is where I'm ultimately coming from here. Jeff, what's your okay? We're wrapping up. Who is gone tomorrow night of the 4 nominees? Which 2 are done?
My gut is telling me that Jasmine and Kyle.
Jasmine and
Ooh.
Kyle.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm going to say Monty and Kyle.
And I have Jasmine and Joseph being gone. Double J.
Okay, so that all three different picks here. So combinations, some crossovers, of course. So I hope it's Jasmine and Kyle. But I think it's going to be Monty and Kyle. I think more than likely here. Because I think they're going to look at I think that the whole thing with Jasmine is that they're like, is she really worth it to vote out? But then you don't have to live with her anymore. But you eventually have to live with her again in the jury house. So you can't really escape her forever, unless you make it to the final 2 or 3. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Okay.
They could do it too. Like Brittany could just vote for Monty, even if Taylor votes out Jasmine. You break the tie with Michael, and Michael could send Monty home. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a different kind of double eviction tomorrow. To kind of see
You
how
should
this plays.
take that chance. I think if I was, I'd take my shot. He has the opportunity. As the bullets in the chamber. He's gonna get Jasmine out. Stupid.
I think he knows
to
that.
lay low. He wants to lay low,
but he doesn't want any blood on his head.
I don't think
it's in his
gonna
book.
work. I don't think it's gonna work. I think
that's the tricky thing. He's putting way too much faith in the idea. Like, look, it's great that you're so smart, but you're not as smart as a living, breathing competition that's going on. Just sorry.
Guys, if Monty gets voted out tomorrow night, I will be out of the draft. That will be done.
Well, you join me.
No, I'll join Jeff. Jeff. Neither of your guys even made jury.
No.
So at least I got Monty in the jury.
I still too.
All right. Well, anything else, guys, from the episode? Any comments, questions? I think that's it. Like, there wasn't a lot of content here. We talked about Tiffany and everything else, and I don't know. There's not a lot left to say, I don't think, guys. Okay. Well, Jaemeel and Jeff, are you on with Jaemeel tomorrow night?
Yeah, I'll come on.
What?
All right. All right. Perfect. So Jeff and Jaemeel will be here tomorrow night to talk about the evictions. So let's plus out, and then I'll be back Sunday to talk about the Week 8 HOH nominations. Seeing kind of like when we get down to our final 8 here, I'm kind of curious to see how that plans out, how this comes back together. Either way, no matter who gets evicted tomorrow night, I think it's going to be interesting to see how Week 8 plays out. So join us Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week as we continue our coverage of this season. You should go back and watch our coverage of Big Brother Canada 10, which we wrapped up this spring, and there was also Survivor season 42, which we covered. If you're into those shows, check out our podcast. We broke them down. We analyzed them, just like we did tonight here. If you like what we do, you should like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate the support here on the channel. You should also check out our other channels. We got a Star Trek themed channel. Did you know? Called Live Long in Podcast. That's right, Jaemeel. And on Monday nights, we talk about Star Trek Enterprise, going through episode by episode, reviewing, watching, analyzing, and rating. And then on Tuesday nights, Star Trek's Deep Space Nine at 9-ish, we call it. We've been going through that. We're now up to season 5, but we've been doing this for well over 2 years, going through all those episodes. Tomorrow or next week's episode is called In the Cards, where Jake Sisko just wants to get his dad a baseball card, a Willie Mays baseball card, which I'm looking forward to covering that one on Tuesday. And then Star Trek Lower Decks, I'll be doing a podcast tomorrow with Chris Murphy, maybe with Davin Skellhorn too, for the Lower Decks premiere for season 3. It's called Grounded, and we'll be also on next week. Davin might be here as well. I might have to pick him up at the GO train. He is in Ontario, guys.
Ooh.
Yeah. And speaking of Davin Skellhorn, you should check out his podcast, including Locutors of Trek. That's his Star Trek theme channel, where he does trivia and different games and things like that, different debates, as well as he's got X-Rated, an X-Men animated series podcast where they go through episode by episode and rewatch those episodes and review. Our friend Michael Chan, he's got the Hellbound podcast with our other friend Alex Blackburn. That's a Wednesday podcast. That's a horror themed podcast where they do different things over there. And my son Eamon, under his alias Sam Jerka. Let's talk about Fighting Games, which is an audio podcast you can find on Spotify and different places. Check that out. They don't talk about Mega Man, only on New Year's Eve specials. So
Still hung up on that. King of Fighters, Street Fighter 6, Tekken, right?
Baiku, Baiken, I don't know these games, but he talks about them, and you can listen about that. So check that out over on Let's Talk About Fighting Games from Sam Jerka. All right, guys, thanks for being with us tonight, and well, I'll see you guys Sunday. Good luck tomorrow night. All right, and I think we need a good quote to take us away here. All right, see you next time, everybody. Oh, it's not Star Trek. Wait.
Leftovers are fine and all that, but there is nothing better than a fresh plate.